And then the second thing I want to talk about the second thing I wanted to talk about today was pretty much about creating, being a creator, and the importance of being versatile. I think it's so important to be a creator before everything else. Let me explain. I think that a YouTuber is first a creator and then a YouTuber. A Instagram influencer is first a creator of some sort and then an Instagrammer. And I think that those are important differentiations because these platforms, while huge right now and seemingly going nowhere, can somehow go somewhere. And that may sound like paranoia or whatever, just because they seem so ingrained and so established. And obviously, I hope the best for all these platforms because they're giving huge opportunities to tons of creators and really democratizing the industry in itself. I think that sort of something I've gotten lost in before is trying to make stuff focused on these platforms. So it's like one big thing, obviously is vlogging on YouTube. Vlogging on YouTube's huge. That comes with a certain style, certain aesthetic, a certain approach, and it's really been sort of marked and genreified, if that's a word. Like a genre has been created for it by certain creators. So originally vlogging was this thing where you sort of set up your camera, you sort of put it down, maybe you're in your room or whatever, and you just sat down and you talked about any sort of number of things. It could be your day, it could be a specific story, a specific incident, anything of that sort. One of the biggest vloggers that I remember early age YouTube was like Jenna Marbles. She's obviously still around, but she like sat down there and she talked about different stories throughout her day, and she usually had like her little dog with her and stuff. It was pretty cute. Another vlogger from that early vlogging style that I remember is Ryan Hegan Off the Pill. That was a bit more comedic, a bit more sketch-like, but it was still a vlog in the sense that he had a camera sitting down right there on his desk, and then he sat in front of it and he just talked about whatever. And then I think, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, my timeline's not going to be perfect with this, but vlogging then sort of took a more adventure approach. You had people like, oh my god, what's that guy's name? Something Lou, Adventures with Lou. Fun for Lewis. It was Fun for Lewis. Fun for Lewis then took it to a direction of sort of like traveling and going places, visiting different cities, different countries, etc. And the approach to it was pretty much just having whatever camera you had. That could be a camcorder, it could be point and shoot, it could be your phone, whatever. And I started just vlogging like that. And then obviously one of the bigger names out there, if not the biggest, Casey Neistat, took it to this whole just different cinematic level of vlogging with the inclusion of time lapses, the inclusion of sort of like third person shots where he would walk into a room and the camera would already be placed, and then he would walk out of that room, the camera would remain there, so sort of creating this cinematic vibe in the vlog genre. But I think that for all these different creators, all these different approaches to just one specific category, which is vlogging on YouTube, one of the biggest things that has always been of importance and been a difference is the creativity in it. So Casey Neistat has always focused more so on the story. His editing is incredible, and he had good quality footage because he usually carries around a Canon 80D, 70D. I think he switched one time to Sony. I don't know if he like bounces between the two now, but he sort of brought that higher quality because he was running around with a giant Gorilla Pod and a DSLR on the end of it, as well as a microphone on it for better audio. That was a new approach that hadn't yet been taken because most vloggers at that time were carrying around just camcorders with them or selfie styling it on their phone. Followed by that was Peter McKinnon then took it to an even further level by still vlogging and still sort of having that first person, but having just phenomenal B-roll mixed in with color grading and drone footage and extreme sort of immersive sound effects. In my timeline, it was Casey Neistat, seeing Casey and the way he vlogged, and then sort of the next up, even though Casey was already so up, being that extreme production quality and production value coming out of Peter McKinnon. But all these things come with not following sort of what was already established and not approaching these genres or these styles of videos in the same exact manner as everybody else before them. And I think that's where the creator sort of oversees and becomes more apparent and more adamant than the YouTuber, because Peter McKinnon is a YouTuber and Casey Neistat's a YouTuber, and Ryan Higa's a YouTuber, and so is Jenna Marbles. But the difference between there is Ryan Higa might be an amazing creative writer, right? Like all those skits and stuff that he writes. Peter McKinnon is an amazing cinematographer. Casey Neistat's an amazing, I mean, he's just like, he's a good overall storyteller. An amazing editor too. I think that has a huge play into it. Independent artist is probably sort of how I would categorize that, coming from this traditional film background and then immersing that into the modern ways of vlogging. But all in all, they always had their own approach. They always had something new, and I think that's getting harder and harder to do every single day because more and more people are making stuff, and it's so hard not to look at their stuff and not to watch their stuff. I want my like creating to like consuming ratio to be so much better than what it actually is, but right now I'm probably consuming like 3 or 4 Peter McKinnon videos for every one video I make, and I want that to be like every 4 videos I make I consume a Peter McKinnon video or a Casey Neistat video or whatever. And I think that would just make me a better creator. I think that might make anybody else or someone else a better creator and just more original, because then you start in that base being inspired by them, but then you have to, while making your own stuff, sort of just figure it out on your own and figure it out what it is. And people might even catch on to something that's completely irrelevant to you. Like, I don't know, I scratch my chin every time I think about something, and all of a sudden now that's a brand thing, and now everybody's making shirts with me scratching my chin on it, and that's like my forte, and it's hashtag chin scratchers club. Just any number of things that go ahead and make it personal, make it unique to you and your voice and your channel and your content in general. But I think all in all, I would sort of argue that we ought to I think we ought to strive to be creators for eternity as opposed to YouTubers for the now, because YouTube is cool now, but YouTube might not be cool in the future. But being a creator now, being a creator in the future is all up to you or me, and no one can take that away as long as you're creating. If you go outside and you create, boom, you're a creator for that day. If you do not go outside and create, you are not a creator for that day. It's sort of the way I think about it. And so, well, I like vlogging and YouTube and sort of the approaches there. One of the things I've personally tried to do is to create a lot of stuff on Instagram there that's just purely experimental stuff with lights, colors, editing, syncing with music, things of that sort. Things that literally, if I put on YouTube, would make no sense why it would be on a YouTube channel. It would just be like so random, because like my YouTube channel is more cohesive in the fact that it's, you know, there's maybe a short film here and there and a skit here and there. Most of the time it's me vlogging or talking about something, whereas on my Instagram it's you know, a video of me like, I don't know, doing this. Take my shirt and just go ahead and wipe up. That's one approach, and that's one way to go about it. I'm not saying you have to do it this way, like, yeah. I'm just saying it's, you know, it's a thought. It's something I found myself doing in order to make sure that I'm not just vlogging to be a vlogger, right? Like, I personally want to be a creator. I want to be a creator first, but at the same time, I'm trying to use those platforms as something of an outlet. Not the sole outlet, but just one of many outlets. And I think that's just a good approach to sort of seeing yourself and seeing how your work comes out. Just because, like, you don't know. YouTube may not be around tomorrow. You don't know. But as long as you're going out there and you're just inspired by random stuff and you decide to go ahead and twist things and bang a stick against the bucket to make music, or, you know, just go around with your phone and filming and just whatever, like, that can never be, there is no barrier to that. As long as you have your voice, as long as you have your spirit, your energy, as long as you're breathing and around, there's nothing to stop you from being a creator. So I don't know, it was a random thought, more so for me, because I was like, I don't know, I was like thinking to myself about, I was like, what have I been doing lately? And I was like, well, I've been doing a lot of YouTube lately, and I've been like uploading on YouTube a lot. What can I do that's not YouTube? It's just a way to learn new things and try new tactics that wouldn't necessarily come up in a vlog. So anyways, that's my 2 cents today. Just keep creating, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to my vlog and my channel. If you want to check out my Instagram work, it's right here. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.